Shalom, friends, and welcome back to this week's latest installation of a Bisseleh Torah. This week's Torah portion, Shlach Lecha. And I'd like to take you on a spiritual journey with me today to talk about something that is shared by the Ishbitzer Rebbe, who in Mehashiloach, his important work, cites that there are three worlds where God inhabits. The first world is where God is known. The second world is where God is known and unknown. And the third world is where God is unknown. And the Ishbitzer goes further by speaking about those three worlds and what they mean in our world in which we travel. The first world, which is known, is a world where a person walks consistently with God. God is with them in everything that they do, every place that they travel, everything that they say. They're so God-centric of an individual that this person doesn't even need to pray because God is always centered in their mind, in their soul, in everything that they touch and everything that they do. On the opposite side, where God is unknown, this person doesn't know to pray, doesn't have any desire to pray, doesn't find any reason in which to bring God closer to him or her. They're just divorced from God. God has no voice in their life. And the third world, where God is both known and unknown, such a person knows that there is a God, understands that there is communication between heaven and earth, between earth and heaven, between themselves and the master of the universe, but they have to work at it. They have to find the spiritual boost in which to elevate their thoughts and their prayers and their words to God. Now, the Ishbitzer brings these three worlds and these three ideas up, particularly in this week's Torah reading, because the spies were sent out to reconnoiter the land and determine whether it was habitable for them or not. Of the spies, 10 of them, for 10, there was no understanding that they should communicate with God. They were simply on a mission to determine whether the land was habitable. They didn't pray. They didn't find reason to pray. They didn't find reason to connect themselves with God. They simply out to do a mission. That was the beginning, that was the end, and they came back and they gave the report. Of those 12, Caleb in Hebrew, according to tradition, went to the tomb of the patriarchs of Abraham and the others in order to pray for direction, because he was unsure of the ground in which he walked, but knew that there was a pathway directly to God. He just needed to find that pathway that would lead him to his destination. So he was an individual that lived in the world of the known and the unknown. The final character in this is Joshua. For him there was no doubt, no need to pray, no need to look for direction, because he lived in the world of God all the time, the world of the known. And why this is splayed out before us by the Ishbitzer, I think, has resonance in our lives as well. For there's some people who consistently have God foremost in their mind, and there may not be most people, but there are certain very dedicated people in this world whose focus never wavers, who knows what is asked of them in life, and don't need to connect with God because God is always there. God is always with them in their life. On the other side, there are people for whom God really doesn't figure in their life at all. And it's hard. Life is difficult, especially when we look over their shoulders and look at all these religious people that are traveling around the world, and they wonder, who are they talking to? What's their language? Are they speaking to something or nothing? For them, the resonance does not really have any meaning in their life. They don't pray. They don't offer it up because they find no reason to do so. Most people are in the third category, that of the known and the unknown, that we need to find within ourselves the need and the hope and the desire to want to reach out beyond ourselves, knowing that there is an ear in the universe that wants to hear our petition, that believes in us, and that we believe in it as well. Of course, we call this it by many names. God is the most familiar of the English names with him. So perhaps this story of the Ishbitzer and the story that resonates in Shlach Lecha of the spies that are going out to reconnoiter the land has a powerful impact on our lives as well, or at least can have a powerful impact in our lives. For which of the three are we? Shabbat Shalom.